All right, joining us now to discuss, Tennessee Congressman and House Foreign Affairs Committee member Representative Tim Burchett. Congressman, let's talk about the commitment to America. I don't know whether you were around when there was the contract with America, contract for America. How do you see this fitting into Republican plans, and do you think there's a real there? Is there enough concrete guidance here that Republicans can make a difference if they're able to take back the House?
Yes, sir, I think there is, and thank y'all for having me. And the main reason is we didn't listen to a bunch of fat cat lobbyists and a bunch of lifetimers in Washington. We listened to the people. These are the things they're wanting: an economy that's strong. You just go to the gas pumps and look, price of eggs. The month of August, groceries are up 13%. A safe country. I mean, gosh, who hasn't heard about the fentanyl disaster that's coming over our southern border? Over 100,000 overdoses this year reported by the CDC. You know, a future built on freedom. Who could be against that? We got to make sure that students, the parents have a right to be in the classroom, to know what's going on in the classroom. You've got to know that only women could compete in women's sports. And the government that's held accountable. My gosh, I wrote an editorial about a year or two ago about our proxy voting. It was in the Wall Street Journal. And, you know, or where else but in Washington can you just mail it in? You know, people need to show up and go to work. And all these things are things that the American public has demanded, but the Democrats have not listened to. Out of control spending, this transgender issue, on down the line. I mean, fentanyl every day. How many more Americans are going to have to lose their lives? And got a president and a vice president.
Congressman, let me ask you something. I don't mean to interrupt you, because I know you're going on something that a lot of people are interested about. I wanted to talk about the commitment to America that Kevin McCarthy introduced earlier today. Are you aware of what's in it? And the reason I ask it that way is there are a lot of people that aren't going to be aware what's in it. And does it matter? If the average person can't tell you what's in it, for instance, we know that they want to get rid of 87,000 IRS agents. I mean, a lot of people, how could you be against that, especially the right side of the aisle? 200,000 new police. I think a lot of people are saying, is that something you can run on?
Oh, 100%. People are sick of this defunded the police that the Democrat majority has been pushing. They say they don't. And then yesterday, they even reiterated, they locked it in stone when they basically passed legislation that would take from communities like mine that have done the right thing and invested in police and given it to communities that have not, where you're seeing crime in most of these Democrat-run big cities that don't, and we're going to put the money there. And then in fact, they're not even allowing the money to go to law enforcement, that they're going to send out these counselors. And I don't know about you, but you've got some guy with a gun that's shooting at people. He doesn't need a counselor. He needs a bullet in the head, and that's not going to be delivered by a counselor. It's going to be delivered by a gutsy member of our law enforcement community, which we back. And you've seen the crime all over the country. And in this commitment to America, there's a tenet about this revolving door of these criminals, and we're going to have to start prosecuting prosecutors who do not enforce the law. It's outrageous that somebody can go in somebody's business and just loot it and then be back out on the street the next day, or commit an assault in New York City and be back out on the street the next day to murder. And those are things that are in there, and that's why Kevin McCarthy's done a masterful job. He's listened to the people, and that's what you don't hear out of Washington. And that's why we will take the majority, and that's why he will implement this. And I think he'll go down in history as one of the greatest speakers, because he has a plan and he believes it, and he knows if we don't do it, we could lose our country.
Okay, Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you so much for joining us. And again, we look forward to hearing even more about that commitment to America plan. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all so much.